Welcome to Game On, brought to you by the American Hotel. I'm Jess Gledhill.
And I'm Alex Mitchell.
We have an absolutely jam-packed show for you this week as we take a look where all the local sides are sitting ahead of this weekend's Interleague bye.
Yeah, and we meet some of the players and coaches from the Murray Interleague team. They're going to be playing down the road at Moama this weekend.
We also caught up with Warren Davies from Outside the Locker Room. That interview up next.
Game on.
Before we get into all this weekend's footy and netball, Warren, why don't you explain a little bit about what Outside the Locker Room actually is?
Thanks, Jess. Thanks for having me on the show today. Outside the Locker Room is an education development program around leadership, culture, mental health. First session, then the next session, then when we come to the clubs, is about leadership and culture, about what's a leader within your club. And how to develop a good culture. We move into the next session, which is then the drug and alcohol and mental health session, which is probably the little bit heavier session, but it's a really good session. All the sessions are interactive, and the third education session is on nutrition and on food and how it affects your mood and your performance. So,
if other clubs do want to get involved in this project, how can they do that?
Well, the best way to do that is to go to the website, which is www.outsidelockerroom.com.au, and express your interest through there, and someone will get back to you and give you some more details on the program.
Well, thanks so much for coming in today, Warren. It's been a pleasure chatting.
No worries. Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's get underway with the teams and how they're sitting so far this season. In the GVL, Echuca hasn't had a slow start to the season, but they've found some form in the last two games. I think the match against Benalla was one that got away from the boys, but they found their form and regrouped against Mooroopna. This weekend they dominated again with a 91-point win against the Swans, but it'll be interesting to see how they go later on in the season against some tougher competition. They meet the Bears in round 5, and they've matched up pretty well against them in the past, so it should be a good game there. They'll also be celebrating Liam Wilkinson's 150th game. The Bombers' forward line has been their key. Skipper Jordan Flores, Rory Kirkby and Cam Valentine producing some strong targets, as well as Tim Allen down there. It's a dangerous combination, and when they get the delivery they need, watch out.
That's absolutely right. Moving across to the Murray League and Moama, they certainly made a statement on the weekend. We saw that disappointing result against Walla 2 weeks ago, and they really did make a statement, especially with the defensive side. 3 quarters they didn't allow a goal, only gave up 2 for the game, so that's definitely making a statement right there. Mark Lloyd, he says he's happy with that 4-1 record after 5 rounds, but really they should be 5-0. There's really no reason they should have lost to Moala. So I think you'll be happy with 4-1, but they really should be equal top of the ladder at this point. And Cooper Barber, he's been an absolute star so far through the season. 3 goals in the weekend, many more goal assists. Definitely someone who should be in that Bendigo Pioneers team.
And then we've got Echuca United. They've looked really strong this season too in the Murray League, sitting 4 from 1 with a couple of pretty convincing wins, especially the game at the weekend, kicking 170 points to 26 against Finley at South Oval. They've only come up against one really strong team, Moama, and lost there, so it'll be telling to see how they go for the rest of the season when they come up against teams like Namurka and Baruga. They'll make the finals, but I think how they perform in the weeks to come will really be telling as to how far they'll go. For a new team, they've gelled well, and they've had a few key players in each line. That's Corey Wanganeen in the back, Zach Myercheck through the centre, and Dwayne Houston and Nick Dennehy in the forward line there.
Absolutely. Tongala, been an up and down start to the season. Obviously only the one win so far, which was their first win on the weekend against Kungutna. They are a developing side and a new coach in Trav Edwards as well, so it's a new game plan they're working on as well. So I think sort of a positive start to the season, but I'd probably expect a few more wins in the second half. But it was great to see them get that first win on the weekend. They did have to earn it, only a couple of points down at 3/4 time. Trav said, let's keep attacking, let's keep running them off their feet, and that's exactly what they did to get across the line by 9 points. And Bailey Warsdorf, he's another guy who's in that Bendigo Pioneers TSC Cup squad. Young star, absolute star. He's been brilliant through the first 5 games of the year. Expect to see even more from him in the second half of the season.
Yeah, then in the Pecola and District League, we've got two very different stories. Pecola United undefeated, looking to be the team to beat once again. They've got a real test coming up for them following the Interleague bye, though, in round 7, and that's against Blighty, who are in a similar position. They had a good win over Tokemall on Saturday, 23 points, with Adam Jorgensen, Travis Morgan, and Scott Miles all standouts. Dean Holyman has also been a really strong contributor in the ruck, but he went down with an injury at the weekend, so hopefully he'll be back for that round 7 clash. He will be one that's definitely needed. Mathaura, on the other hand, have had a pretty poor start to the season. They struggled to find some form early, but they hit their straps in the game against Yarrawea. Wasn't the toughest of oppositions, but it gave them some confidence, which will go a long way in their game this weekend against Strathmerton after the bye. And they've definitely got a renewed fight in them, which is great to see from the Timber Cutters.
Absolutely. Moving across to the Heathcote and District League, Leachville Gunbower, been a very good start to the season, but the real story for them has just been their injuries. They've lost 12 guys in the last 2 weeks. That's all injuries, forced changes, where they've had to bring those new guys in. They've still been doing pretty well considering they're missing so many guys. Another 69-point win on the weekend. So look, I think they'll be pleased with the start of the season, but more pleased than anything that they've just got to the Interleague bye, got that week off, and hopefully get a few more of those guys back in. For LBU, been a tough start to the season, obviously, and it was another heavy loss against North Bendigo, but I'm just really not too much shame in that. North Bendigo are a brilliant side. LBU were pretty competitive in that first half there, and they've been trying pretty hard with, again, a pretty young team so far this season. So let's just hope they keep improving through the second half of the season and, just get a little bit more experience into the side.
Well, I'd also like to mention the Echuca Senior Women's Football team. They played their first match in the Northern Country Women's League on Sunday against North Bendigo. Echuca taking that one 101 to 6 points in an impressive effort from our girls and a great start to the season. Kate Dixon and Sophie Douglas each kicked 4 goals, but we've got a full report in Friday's Riv of that one.
Absolutely right. We're going to take a short break now, and when we come back, we're going to have a look at the netball.
Welcome back. Well, it hasn't been quite the start most of the girls were hoping for on the netball front, but one team who really has dominated this season in the Murray Netball League is Moama. They've just gone from strength to strength and enjoyed another win at the weekend against Denny by 15 goals. They were really holding their breath with this one, with Denny also sitting as a top 2 team this season, but they'll rest easy knowing they can take it to the more challenging teams, and it'll surprise me if any other side gets close to the girls this year.
Yeah, I'd be pretty surprised too, but if there is one team I think might be able to do it, that would be Tongala. Another win on the weekend against Concupna by 12 goals. They're 4-1 now, and they've done that with missing players through every game so far this season. So I think when those players come back in, they've showed they're only a 15 or 20 goal worse side than Moama in that game so far this season. So plenty of room to improve. I think they're absolutely a danger side this year.
Well, one team that did struggle at the start of the year, that was Echuca United. They had a couple of tough games against Moama and Tawny, but they seemed to settle into their combinations to win the next 3. They overcame Finley by 9 goals on Saturday at home, and even without their goal shooter, Sophie Atkinson, it was pleasing to see that they've got the depth on the bench to come up and fill that spot. Tanner Edwards coming on into goal shooter, but they'll be working hard to grind their way back up the ladder this season.
Absolutely. In the GVL, Echuca, another loss on the weekend by 11 goals to Shep Swans. They were only 5 goals down at 3/4 time, so they were right in that game, but they just couldn't quite make up that ground. I think it's just that consistency letting Echuca down. Momentary lapses where they concede a couple of goals and make a couple of errors. That's something that is going to come with experience, and we saw on the weekend 6 of those 7 girls out there under the age of 20. So yeah, a little bit more experience into them, and they'll definitely be improving.
Yeah, and in other games, Pecola faced a 29-point loss to reigning premiers Tokemall, Pecola and District League, so they'd be disappointed with their season so far, letting that game against Darildery slip earlier. Mathaura faces a tough climb back up the ladder. They're yet to get a win this year, but they've had a tough games already, so they'll be looking forward to a few easier matches coming up.
I'm sure they will. In the Heathcote League, LBU got the win on the weekend. I think their defence was the key. One only conceding 26 goals. Trying a new combination there, and that definitely paid off. And they've been a bit up and down so far this year, but they're still right in the mix. Leachville Gunbower, very competitive game on the weekend. Caught some rain in Heathcote just before the start of the match, which is always going to make for a pretty sort of tight contest. But they're 3-1 now for the season, looking really good, and again, plenty of room to improve.
Well, that brings us to the end of the netball for this week. We caught up with co-captain of the Murray Interleague team, Reese Archard, and a few of the footballers and netballers in this year's senior Murray Interleague teams.
Amy and I have been chosen as a defensive combo, so I think that everyone brings their own part to our interleague team. We all have a role to play, so we haven't had a training yet, so we're looking forward to getting that down this week and seeing how we work together as a squad.
And what do you hope to get out of playing interleague?
Playing with better players, picking up how they play and then learn from them and better player, I guess, yeah.
Playing interleague is a great experience as you do play just that one level up from every Saturday game. So it'd be interesting to see what other leagues are like.
With the boys from my own club, Zach Mychek, Farron Priest and Nick Dennehy, if we can all get a game. But apart from that, your top line players like Reese Archer and Tyron Downey, the captains, they're really good players to play under. They've got good direction, so good to play with them.
I don't know many of the girls because I've never played Murray League, but it's pretty awesome that we've got 4 Moama girls in there that I've played with previously as well, so that's great.
Do you ever get jealous, I guess, out there playing with guys who just get the week off?
Oh, I have that opportunity to do it. The fact that it was here though, and I liked it last year. I really enjoyed it, so it's a pretty easy decision to do it again this year.
Well, it's great to meet the players there who are going to be representing our league on the weekend. But we also met the coach of the football team, Simon Maddox. He'll be coaching Murray's Football League side this weekend.
We've really taken a stance that it's more about ourselves in our own backyard, starting off with getting the better players in the competition to play. So they're trying to rejuvenate interleague footy, I guess you can say, get all the clubs behind it. If we're going to have interleague footy, then we all need to embrace it and get behind it. There's no point having it and then having 2 or 3 of the better clubs say, oh, we don't want our players to play. And it's hardly fair that one side supplies 6 players to play and then they come out next week after interleague and they play a side where no one played and they're all fresh. So if we're going to have it, let's embrace it. Let's be proud of the competition we play in. Let's be proud of the Murray League and field our best side. Yeah, those guys are really important. Starting off getting those best players to play, then floods through to the rest of the competition. Your younger players are really keen. They all want to get on board. Fantastic. We've got Reese Archer and Tyrone Downey as co-captains. You've got a couple of blokes who've been on AFL lists. So if I was a young 18-year-old and I'm in the squad, I'd be really excited to play with those quality of players. Obviously working with Jason Limbrick from Nathalia, we can sort of bounce ideas off each other. We've got Nick Flanagan and Lucas White helping us out from Baruga and Yamurka as well. So we're getting to see a lot of games of footy and reporting back. And everyone, including the players, have really embraced it and all jumping on board, and there's an air of excitement, so we're ready to go. We kept the structure really simple because obviously we haven't played together before. A lot of the guys have played interleague footy together, but there's still some new fresh faces, and obviously mine and Jason's approach will probably be different to Peter White's, the last coach. So structure will be pretty similar to what takes place at most footy clubs. So it won't be anything revolutionary or anything like that. It'll just be basic setups, how we want to play, how we want to use the footy. The guys can train that Tuesday and Thursday night and digest it and make sure we're prepared for Saturday.
Great insight there. Be sure to head to Moama Recreation Reserve this Saturday to watch the games between Murray and Wimmera. The seniors kicking off from 2 p.m. on the footy field and 1:30 p.m. on the netball courts.
And don't forget the GVL is heading over to Wodonga. They'll be battling Ovens and Murray. The Cougars got Daniel Willis and Rory Kirkby in the footy and Lisa Drysdale in the netball. In Heathcote, they're travelling to play Central Murray. That game will be played at the QEO with plenty of Leachy Gunny talents in the team there.
Well, that just about brings us to the end of the show. Thanks for watching, and be sure to grab your copy of Monday's Riverine Herald for the lift to see if you're the next American Hotels faces in the crowd. And tune in next Thursday to riverineherald.com.au for another episode of Game On.
Yeah, and we leave you today with some photos from the MCG. We had some of those Oz kickers from Echuca United, Moama and Rochester playing the half-time Little League game in Sunday's Ripper game between Melbourne and Hawthorn.